Viewpoints on the Talk Station, FM 107.1. Yesterday, we were talking with our guest that's in the studio again today, Lee Stiles, about a program that's taking place Thursday. It's a reentry program. And Lee Stiles, of course, also the CEO, president of Pit to the Palace, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And I push that microphone right in his face there. All right. What is Pit to the Palace?
From the Pit to the Palace is a nonprofit 501c3 organization that helps people get out of a life of addiction, and we help them reach a life of sobriety and reach a life of recovery. So that's what we're passionate about. But we also provide reentry services too for incarcerated or justice-involved people coming out of incarceration, helping them get acclimated back into the community.
You know, one of the things I wanted to ask about the incarceration, we're going to get to the reentry program here in a moment. A lot of instances you have people who are in prison, they end up picking up, if you will, bad habits. Let's be candid, there are drugs in the penal system as well, are there not?
Yes, there are. I actually sold marijuana my first time in prison, inside of prison, and smoked marijuana in prison.
Okay, so you know, the whole issue is the environment is very conducive to contributing to bad habits and bad thinking,
yes,
for all intents and purposes. All right, that's from the Pit to the Palace.
Yes.
And you've been involved in this. You've also, I might add, just want to make a mention of this, you have done a lot of programs at churches.
Yes, that's
right?
correct, Lockwood.
Okay, I think that's important, and anybody who's listening to this is looking for a program for their church, or by the way, a service club, let me just say, you can feel free to call the talk station. I will get you Lee Stiles' phone number.
Yes, I actually just went to Newport Middle School on Friday, and I was a guest speaker at the DARE graduation for the 6th graders at Newport Middle School.
Outstanding. More power to you. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the reentry program, or the reentry simulation that's taking place Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock at the Crystal Coast Civic Center in Morehead City.
Yes.
I said before you joined us, this is a program that the community needs to embrace, and quite frankly, the public needs to engage in and can attend. Am I correct on that?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. What is the purpose of the reentry program?
The purpose of the reentry simulation event is a reentry simulation is a mock simulation where individuals will be walked through the process of what it's like for an individual coming out of incarceration and getting back into society. They'll go through a gauntlet, and this gauntlet, you'll go to a mock DMV where you'll try to get your identification card or a driver's license. You'll go to an employment agency to try to get employment. And a lot of these individuals that are coming out of incarceration, they don't even have an identification card. They don't have a social security card. They don't even have their birth certificate. So we walk them through the process to show them what it's like and all the challenges and the barriers that people face with getting back out into society.
Here's what's fascinating about that, related to Social Security and the birth certificate. They've been incarcerated.
Yes.
Okay. They just didn't incarcerate somebody off the street. They had to have identification. They had to have proof that it was Lockwood Phillips. They had to have some identification, my driver's license. They had to have my Social Security card, because they've got it. While I'm in prison, I'm also working, and I'm sure they're keeping up with my income.
Yes.
And as a result, they've got to have some indication of what my birth certificate is. When I get out of prison, I don't have ready access to that documentation. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, that's correct. People coming out of incarceration, they don't have readily access to those documents unless they had them prior going into prison. So they have to get out, and they got to get a Social Security card. They got to go to the Social Security Administration, get a Social Security card. They got to go to the DMV.
Well, I had a Social Security card before I went into the system. Do I get a new Social, or is it my old Social Security card?
You can use your old Social Security card, because that's what I did. I got a Social Security card years ago, and I still use it to this day. So.
Okay. All right. So they've got to get this documentation. How important is this documentation? I say that with kind of a tongue-in-cheek. I mean, it's pretty important, isn't it?
Very.
I can't get a job unless I can prove I am who I am.
Exactly. You go apply for a job, they're going to ask for 2 forms of identification. Because recently I just went through that with applying for a part-time job I just picked up. I had to have my driver's license or my identification card and my social security card. So if you don't got these documents, you're not going to be employed.
All right, we're talking with Lee Stiles. We're talking about a program that's taking place Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock. Am I correct on the time?
Yeah, 8 a.m. And it's going to go on till 4 p.m. So 8 a.m. to 12:30, we got the simulation event. And then from 12:30 to 1:15, we're going to break for a brief lunch. 1:15 to 4 is going to be the resource fair. We're going to have different agencies come out, set up resource tables. So that way, if anybody that just got out of incarceration, they can come to this event and they can meet employers and possibly potentially talk to them about getting employment.
Okay. Let's talk about, I want to go about the morning program because that's who I'm talking to right now. I'm hoping people listening will say, okay, if I've got the time, and by the way, you don't have to be there for the full 4 hours, right?
No, you don't.
Okay. So how long will it take me to go through the simulation? About 45 minutes to an hour?
Yeah, about an hour.
Okay. So if you're driving, you say, well, I'd like to know what it's like coming out of incarceration. This is an opportunity. I guess the question I have is, we're looking for the average person. We're looking at business owners. Who are we hoping to attract to this program?
Business owners. We're looking for elected officials,
Right.
law enforcement, faith-based organizations. Yeah, you name it. This is open for especially the people in the community that are making our executive decisions, like the elected officials, our local city councilmen, our law enforcement, because we want them, the DA's office, we want them to see what it's like to go and to walk in the shoes of a person with a criminal record and see how tough and challenging it is to get back out here in society and become a productive citizen.
Okay. I'm aware of this now. So what is the benefit to this?
The benefit of this is for us to bring more awareness to the reentry issue that we have in this community. I feel like reentry is something that's swept under the rug a lot. Of course, we got an opioid problem in this county. We got other issues going on, but we got a population of people who are coming back to our community from incarceration, and we want to reduce their chances of going back to prison or jail. So to do that, we got to open up resources and create opportunities for them, because Lockwood, if you give people an opportunity, then you'll give them hope. If you give them hope, then you'll give them a future. You give them a future, then you'll give them success. So we want to create these opportunities for these individuals. We pray that we can receive more funding, not only from the state, but also local organizations that can be willing to donate to us. I'm the vice chairman of the Carter County Reentry Council, so we are open to take donations. We've been up and running for about 7 years now, but unfortunately, we haven't really received too much funding to do some of the things that we want to do.
We're talking with Lee Stiles, and again, this program's Thursday morning. It goes all the way until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but the primary focus, from my perspective, Lee, is that 8 to noon, when we learn about what it's like if you've been incarcerated, how difficult, how challenging it is to re-enter into society.
Yes.
Your theory, I'm hearing from you, I'm going to sort of change the focus a little bit, but your theory and the theory of, and by the way, I want to make mention of this, we had Warden Embry Morton from the Carter County Adult Correction Facility located in Newport in here yesterday as well. The idea here is not to have recidivism, big word, but we're not going to have people returning to jail. That's the real purpose of this.
Yes.
Make them productive, make them satisfied that they are now in the real world, give them hope, therefore avoiding the return to a criminal activity.
Yeah, because overall, Lockwood is better for the economy.
No question.
Yeah, it costs the state of North Carolina, each individual inmate that's incarcerated, is $50,000 to house them in prison and to provide, I'm gonna say 3 cots and a hot. Right. It stands for three bed. I mean, 3 hots and a cot.
Yeah.
You had 3 meals and a bed. So it costs $50,000 a person or whatnot. So that's coming out of us taxpayers' money. But if these people come out of incarceration and we can turn them into productive citizens, allow them to be successful, and that way they can become tax-paying citizens, then it's better. It's an overall win-win for the economy as well.
Absolutely. And again, going back to Warden Morton's comment yesterday, many of these people are the people that we walk by in our shopping activities at the grocery store, at Walmart, or at the gas station. These are the very same people. We don't know it. I mean, but these are people who have had an experience in their lives, and they have an opportunity, if we will give it to them, to turn their lives around. Lee, the other aspect of this, and we were talking a moment ago about who should be in attendance, and that is, after it's over, what do you hope will come from Lockwood having attended this and going through this process? What are you hoping that will be accomplished from this?
We're hoping that more people like yourself, Lockwood, will be willing to join us in our battle and our fight to help justice-involved persons get resources, and that overall the city and also the county could help fund us, and that way we can put resources into place to help individuals stay free.
Also, to remove the stigma.
Yeah, also to remove the stigma. The stigma is a big thing, because I dealt with this firsthand myself. I got 13 felonies on my record, so it's been times where I went to job interviews and people find out, oh, you got a criminal record. Then I got to explain myself, and they want to know the nature of the crime and what happened, and they automatically looking at you like, oh man, this is a person that if I hired him, something bad could happen at my place of employment.
Right. So the idea here is, if you will, flatten the curve rather than that mountain. You're on one side, I'm on the other. Flatten that curve so that we will have that communications and won't be fearful about having that communication.
Yes, absolutely. Because I feel like some people, Lockwood, when you see me, you look at me as Lee, like this is my brother, it's my friend. But some people, when they see me, they don't see a young man out here trying to make it in society. They look at me as, oh man, he's a convicted felon. This potentially could be a bad person. I don't know if he's gonna rob me. I don't know if he's gonna go back out and sell drugs in Beaufort.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the thing about eliminating stigmas.
So the idea is to also understand to walk the walk. In the process, I'm sure, and we were talking with Mike Nareski, who, by the way, I did not do after the interview I finished yesterday, we didn't do any, I got more detail. Mike was falsely accused and convicted.
Yes.
But he is still a felon.
Yes. Yeah, he's got to wear that felony for the rest of his life.
Wow.
No expungement.
Okay. And by the way, the case was adjudicated. It was dismissed.
Yeah, it was overturned.
Overturned.
Yeah, it was overturned.
Okay. All right. Thursday. I'm jumping ahead one day. Thursday, I'm going to continue to promote this. Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock, Crystal Cove Civic Center in Morehead City, open to the public, free.
Yes.
Free to the public, an opportunity to understand the difficulties and challenges associated with reentry into society. And and all of us are invited to attend.
Yes, everybody's invited to attend. We're going to be serving breakfast. We're going to be serving lunch as well. And we also got a few guest speakers. We got a lady named Letitia Thrash. She's coming from the Department of Corrections, the Adult Department of Corrections, which is a new division. They separated from the Department of Public Safety.
All right.
And so she's coming in, and she's the director of reentry services with that department. She's going to be speaking. Senator Mike Lazar is speaking. The warden, Embry Morton at Carter Correctional Center, he's the keynote speaker. But we also got Congressman Greg Murphy. He's coming. And I'm going to be giving my personal testimonial of what it's like to walk into the shoes of somebody reentering back into society from incarceration.
My friend, and I say my brother, Lee Stiles. Thank you very much, Lee, for being here.
Thank you, Lockwood. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. More to come here on Viewpoints.